And I kept saying that I would get to it, I would get to it, I would get to it. And then a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months passed by. If you were honest with yourself, you already have all the tools, all the resources, everything that you need. You just need to get it done. I didn't overthink it. I didn't overanalyze. No, I figured it out and I got straight to work. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Michelle. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video here on Chats with Michelle. What's that one thing that you know that you should have been checked off your checklist of things to do, but you've simply just been kicking it down the road? And this is a little bit more past procrastination. This is more so like a learning curve kind of situation, or maybe even something that you know is going to be incredibly tedious to do, and you just keep not doing it. Well, I know a thing or two about that very feeling because it is something that I have been doing. Michelle, have been putting something off for quite some time, for quite the last few months, and I finally got it done. And I'm in actually such a great mood today, and the reason why is because I finally put Chats with Michelle on podcast audio platforms. It is now on Spotify and Apple, and it looks like this. So if you use any of these platforms, I want to highly encourage you to go ahead and support it. It will be linked in the description box below. But what is the whole entire point of me even bringing this up? I promise you, there is a reason behind it. And it is because it is something that I have been truthfully putting off because I knew that it was going to be a bit of a learning curve. I knew that I was going to have to do some research and just quite literally have quite a bit of backlog of things that I was going to have to upload. And it was just a thing that I just kept telling myself in the back of my mind that it's going to just take so much work, and I just kind of don't feel like doing it. And I kept saying that I would get to it, I would get to it. And then a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months passed by, and I still hadn't done it. And how many of you can relate to that? Can you relate? So like I said, I knew that getting Chats with Michelle on podcast platforms wouldn't necessarily be a hard thing to do, but I knew that it would be work. It would just take work. But once I figured out, okay, this is what I'm going to do, I got the information that I needed, I just got started and I did the thing. I didn't overthink it. I didn't overanalyze. No, I figured it out and I got straight to work. How many of us suffer from analysis paralysis, meaning that you just overanalyze things over and over to the point where you don't ever get started? You just don't do it. And I can be the first one to say this is something that I've suffered from and still working through, because as someone who has worked in the social media space, and whether I've just been in the vicinity or within the circles of super creative people who are just killing it at what they've done, I myself have imposter syndrome and being like, okay, well, it's not going to look like this, it's not going to look like that. And I literally had to quiet the noise and say, you know what? Yeah, it might not look like how great these people are going to do. However, you know what I can do? I can be consistent. That's what I can do. I can be consistent. I can show up. And there's this saying that it doesn't matter how talented someone is, but if they're not consistent, it's just like, it just doesn't matter. So do yourself that of doing the thing, learning the thing, figuring out the thing, having all the tools. Some of you already have the tools and the resources that you need. So now you quite literally just need to make the time to sit down and execute upon it. And like I said, it probably took me anywhere between like 4 and 5 hours to get this done. And halfway through, I wanted to be done. Like I was like, okay, I'll just do it later. I'm ready to go. You know, or if you don't know, I love a good library. So I went to the library and I was like, you need to get in a different atmosphere so you can work and so you can focus. And halfway through, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just do this later. But then I was like, no, Michelle, you are going to finish this. I don't care how long it takes. You will be here until the library closes if you have to. you are going to finish it. And that's what I did. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. I need you to pick a thing, one thing, and I need you to get it done, because if you are honest with yourself, you already have all the tools, all the resources, everything that you need. You just need to get it done. So right before recording this, I hopped over to my podcast platform because I just wanted to make sure that I had the correct links linked down below. And as I was doing that, I was just kind of going through the podcast analytics just briefly, just to see how it works, etc. And would you believe that I already have 2 downloads? And I know that some of you might be like, Michelle, 2, like, what's the big idea? Well, first and foremost, this is my first time sharing this publicly. So the fact that 2 people like randomly found my podcast on these podcast platforms, and it was Spotify, by the way, so shout out to Spotify. But the fact that 2 random people found my podcast online, I was just like, this is so cool. And the fact that they downloaded, I'm like, what? Like, that is so cool to me. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And it just made me think about, what if I would have got this done earlier? Like, what if I would have got this done sooner? Think about the missed opportunities and impact that could have happened because I just didn't do my part. Now, granted, we're not going to sit here and cry over spilled milk, right? Like, it is what it is. I didn't do it. It's unfortunate. I should have. I didn't. All right, we're going to move on from it. However, I want to just give you that thought and give you something to ponder on and think about, of like how much missed opportunities may be being missed, or who are the people who are not getting the thing that you have to offer because you're not pursuing your God-given assignment. You know what I always say? That is that you were born on purpose, with purpose, and for purpose. You have an assignment that the Lord has given you, and I want to encourage you to do it and stop putting it off, and the analysis paralysis and the comparison and all the things. Like, there's people who need what you have to offer similarly, to me, etc. And in order for that to happen is for you to finally make the time, not find the time, but make the time to get it done. So that being said, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to click the link in the description box below to support Chats with Michelle on podcast platforms, which is Spotify and Apple for right now. And while you're at it, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because listen, we've got so much to chat about. Bye.